Hi, I'm Brad Knowles, producer of Friday Night Flies, hosted by Scott LeBoldus and Scotty Holmes. Enjoy the show. Hey, we're back. As you that follow us online through our social media platforms, Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, would know that we were just away on a little fishing adventure in Florida, down in the Keys. And boy, was that fun. But I'll tell you, I still haven't adjusted to the difference in temperature. When you're going from like the high 30s, or I guess it would have been like probably high 80s, 90s in Fahrenheit, and they come back to what it is today. Like this morning we got up out of bed and walked outside and I could see my breath instantaneously. It was minus 11 Celsius. And I tell you, man, when you're used to wearing flip-flops on the beach and having to put on the big winter boots and the parka, we're going through a little bit of shock here. Might say I'm missing Florida. But you know what, ice fishing season's soon to be on us. But you know what, we got some really nice fish. I should show here. You know what? We're going to share a few pictures. You guys can have a look at this stuff. We weren't doing all that much in the way of fly fishing because we didn't have that much time. And when you got 6 guys fishing with you, because what happened is I took my staff on a little fishing trip. The boys work really hard. They work really hard in the summer months. And as far as I'm concerned, they earned a nice trip to go and do a little drinking, a little cigar smoking, a whole lot of fishing. I mean, we didn't get much sleep, did we? Are we going through the pictures right now, or what are we doing?
Throw a couple up?
Yeah, throw a couple pictures. You guys can have a...
Troy with the nice tarpon.
Yeah, Troy was second to land a tarpon, and this was nice. It wasn't tarpon season, but myself, I really wanted to check that off the bucket list, and the first day I lost 3, and I was beating myself up. But I mean, like, well, let's just keep cycling through. Who are we on here? Who are we on? We'll just cycle through them quick here. You guys can get the hint as to what we were doing. But the fishing was phenomenal. We had a fantastic time, and I guess. Oh yeah, we got some nice sea trout out there in Florida. And I think we were that day. Yeah, there you go. That was my very first tarpon. I was pretty excited about that one. We got that off the list, and I was beating myself up. The first day I went out, I lost 4. One of which was really big, and it was right at my feet, man. And I tell you,
or a little Jack Trevally.
Yeah, little Jack Trevally. Those are beautiful, hard fighting fish. I think they're pretty easy to get on the fly too. Being that it was the first trip, we just threw spinners and crankbaits and stuff like that at them, spoons and jigs, and man, we threw everything at them. It was phenomenal fishing.
Senek, he's got himself a little tarpon.
Yeah, Senek was first to get the tarpon on the board, man. And I'll tell you, there was a lot of jealous guys in the boats, man. We had two different boats going in 2 different directions. Myself, I really wanted to fish the Everglades, so we were off in the Everglades, and we got most of the time we were in cell service. So came across our little chat group there, Senek. Senek with a big tarpon, and yeah, the doubleheader. Those snooks, man, they fight like you wouldn't believe. Anyhow, I thought we were on doubleheader on tarpons because these things were just flashing all over the place, jumping out of the water, going crazy, and they're big silver fish. But yeah, not that I was too upset about it, but there was yeah, for a moment there we thought we were both on tarpon because we when you get over there and you see these big tarpon jumping and flashing all over the place, you get the sickness of wanting to do nothing but catch tarpon. And I can see why the guys over there really get the bug bad, and then probably after you get 100+ pounder, it wears off pretty quick. But the smaller tarpon are a lot of fun to catch. But anyhow, I've got a great pattern. We're gonna get back to the Friday Night Flies, but we're pretty excited to talk a little bit about it. So yeah, we'll go to camera number 3. So while we were down there, I was in a few of the different shops, and I should give our shout out to a couple of the guys that we were fishing with. We were out with Captain Zach Jones from Zoned In Charters, and Ben Trainer from what was his company, Leatherneck Fishing Guides. Both fantastic fishing guides. If you guys are in the Keys area, give them a look up, and they're great guys. They're knowledgeable. They put us on a lot of fish, and they'll do the same for you guys. But anyhow, while we were there, we were chucking spinning gear, and the whole time I was thinking about fly fishing. I'm definitely going back. So, in true fashion, I was thinking about traditional saltwater flies, which you could also use in freshwater as well. So this is a pretty simple pattern. I haven't named it yet. We've been kind of working on it, been inspired by a few other guys online, and in true Friday night fashion, I've given it my own twist by adding a few different things, and one being Solaris. And anytime you can add a UV flash to it, so you can see, you can
Oh yeah.
the
Pops.
it's all UV bucktail, which a lot of guys aren't on yet, but once you get to it, it's hard to go back. Anyhow, we're gonna get great busy time here, so if we go down to are we on camera 4 now? We're on camera 4. We'll give this a slow roll. You guys can have a taste test or what this fish, this little fry pattern is going to look like out there. Beautiful, very beautiful. Anyhow, we're starting out today with a size 2 4X shank in or a 3X. It's actually a 3X, but you'd probably be good with a 4X as well, depending on the size of bucktail that you got. You got some real nice big bucktail. Why not, man? Hammer out that length and get it real fishy. Today I'm using Unithread 3/0 green. We're going to get just a little bit of a base down to add a little color. And just, we don't have to go too crazy, just fill in the gaps and cover that shank. That's all I'm doing. Work that thread back up just before the bend of the shank. And what we're going to do with this after is cover it with some lateral flash. So you want to go just past the point of the shank, nip that off, and we've got golden pheasant tips. Golden pheasant tips. They come, this is off the neck of a golden pheasant. Pretty fancy stuff. But all we're going to do is put this off the tail, just as a little look at me now, how do you like me? You hang it off the back of the feather, off the hook. Lock it down loosely at first. Make sure it's where you want it, right off the back, up on top. Just like that. Beautiful. And we're going to cut the tips off and bury it. Just like so. Oh, I just did a big doo-doo there. Go back it up, fire it back in there. We're not going to waste this feather. We're going to try not to. We might have to. Come on, lock in there. You know what? We're going to start off with a new feather. Because these feathers are about $300 a piece, but since I'm so rich and famous, I can throw one away occasionally. There we go. So we're going to start off again. And let's not do that a second time. That's the beauty of Time Flies Live, is occasionally you have a little bit of a mishap. But there you go. Got that locked down. We're going to do this again. Nip this off at the butt. And we're going to bury this guy. Okay, quick recovery. Just like so. And then what we got here is some lateral scale flashaboo. Super simple. Can you see that okay? So what we're going to do is just take one of these strands off. You got to pick the perfect one, of course. And what I like to do is cut a little bit of a taper to the end, and you'll find that it starts your wrap off just perfect. So we are live here in the Spud Valley Sporting Goods at downtown Pemberton, 1380 Birch Street, and we've got some audience in here. So what we're going to do is lock this guy in on top, lay it down. So, and then what you want to do is try and get it as uniform as you can working back up, just because when you're wrapping this stuff, the less uniform it is, the more ripples, the more gaps you're going to have, and it just makes it a little bit harder to clean up at the end. But you'll see if we do have a mishap, the Solaris takes care of that pretty quick and easy. So what we're doing is throwing a little whip finish off the head here, lock it down. We're going to pull the bobbin cradle over. We're going to get busy with this beautiful lateral scale, and we're going to work our way up the fly. Just getting that shimmer. That's some sexy stuff. I found if you're not pulling too crazy on it, it doesn't bite too much, but I mean, as you're seeing, I'm getting the worst wrap I've ever had. But you'll see that doesn't really matter too much. because when you hit it with the solar res, all those imperfections kind of go away. And if a fish is coming in and seeing that imperfection, it's usually too late on his, because it's usually got its in its mouth by that point. And if that's the case, oh boy, am I ever having a good day today. On fire. Anyhow, it's a good thing we got that rotary feature on this vise, because I'm just going to do this over again because I have no choice. So we're going to work our way back up this guy. As you're seeing, this is how it's done. A second time. I've thought about 300 of these things already. And I'm not going to say that that hasn't happened yet. It happened once before. Okay. So now let's get this locked down properly. Up and over. Up and over a couple more times. Yeah, when you get them tight to the head like it is, that's usually when it happens. So we'll get this guy cut off nice and tight. Smoothing it off. And get busy with the solar as bone dry. So take this nifty stuff and we're going to smoothen out all those imperfections that I had because I had to wrap it twice. You guys will see it works pretty good. It also makes that underlay kind of pop as well. There's no such thing as a perfect fly unless your name is Davey McPhail. And of course, we've got some more hecklers in the building today. It's one of those shows.
Is it lubing it up or gluing it down?
You got her, man. We're lubing it up. Okay, so at that point, we're going to hit it with the UV light, and that cures it. There you go. You see how that works.
Can I get some 30-06?
Yeah.
Oh.
And we're live here at Spud Valley Sporting Goods. It's hunting season, so you guys are in buying bullets and guns and all their stuff. Anyhow, so there's the base. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to some bucktail. So I've got a natural bucktail, so it's white on the underside and of course dark on the top. And then I also have a UV bucktail in chartreuse. So a minnow pattern, especially in British Columbia, the freshwater, most of the fish have a white belly and then they'll have a darker back. So for that reason, you want to put the white on the belly and then your darker pattern goes up on top. So we'll lay this guy down, get ourselves a nice little chunk of this white bucktail. White bucktail. Yeah, I'm still thinking about Florida today, but I'm also thinking a little bit about ice fishing because it's that season. So all I'm doing is just pulling all the small fibers out of the back end, and then I'm going to go to the front. You see how I've got a few longer ones? I'm just going to grab a few of those longer ones, and I'm just going to pull them out and throw them away because I'm very rich and I can afford to throw a few of them fibers away. And then what I'm going to do is go up to the head again, and I'm going to pull some of these smaller ones out. And then I've got perfect bucktail, sparse and beautiful. That's what you want. And then what we're going to do is we're going to line it up so that the tips of the bucktail sit just past the tail, and it all kind of comes together. So that little pheasant tail tips that we have are going to become a little bit of an attractant inside there, which is kind of nice. So we got the white. We're going to lay that guy on top somehow.
Can I get one more case of the 30-06? Okay, please.
Just going to put a couple loose wraps for the simple reason that you want to make sure that everything is up on top, okay? Because the reality is that you really want that nice body that we've got to kind of pop through. So zap that off, and now what I'm going to do, roll that guy over, roll her over so we got the back. That's the nice thing about rotary vices, it makes things so easy. I'm telling you, if you haven't got a rotary vise, it's time to go get one. And this Griffin Mongoose is one of those vices I highly recommend. 3 of the 4 guys that tie on the show are running them. I know that Scotty is running a Stonefoe, which is a really nice vice. It's a pricey bugger, but yeah, he's next level tire for sure. But these rotary mongooses are amazing. So now I've taken a pinch of the chartreuse, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to break it down so it's nice and sparse, and the tips match up. All the short stuff comes out, and then we'll go up to the tip and get rid of all these real long ones. And there you have it, a nice matching pair. You want to get these tips matching up with the other ones, so just past the tip of the pheasant tail ring, and then we're going to cut this guy off, and we're going to lock it down on top. I mean, if I can tie this, you guys would be fine. By no means am I the best fly tire. I'm up there, but you guys can see how easy this is when it comes to tying flies. You want to make sure everything's up on top, and then we're going to lock it down. Boy, I hope the camera didn't catch me there. I have my tongue out again. So, you got that guy up on top, white one down on the bottom. You got a little bit of nice split. It's looking deadly. And then to finish this off, I've got a couple different, these are called peacock swords. So I've got a couple different ones. This one's got a little bit more blue. I don't know if it shows. Can you see that okay in the camera?
Oh yeah, you can see
So this is blue. This one's got a little bit more green. I'm going to go with the green, being that I've got green and white, and it kind of, the contrast is going to be darn sexy. So you don't want to go too crazy on it, because you don't want it all about, you just want that little bit of shimmer when it's flowing through the water to kind of match with the body. And what we're going to do is probably hit about 4 or 5 strands in the sword, and if you think it's too much, you can pull a couple of them out. I just found that 4 or 5 works well. So there's your 4 or 5. When you're tying it in, you want to make sure that it kind of matches the body length. So right about there is on the money. Cut those tips off, and then we're going to melt those suckers in there nice and beautiful. And then we're going to finish this head off with a quick whip finish and a little bit of Solarized. So there you go. So we want to make sure that those tips flow the right way. They're going to, when they get hit with water, there's always one that sits a little funky. So let's see if we can get this right the first time. Oh, look at that. Now it's sitting pretty. Okay, so it's up on top. Make sure everything's locked down. You want to build that head nice and beautiful. And you guys are going to see here in about a half second how the Solarized makes this head pop. So there you go. How's that look so far, man? Looks pretty hot, don't it?
looking real good.
Looking hot. We're dropping them like they're hot today, boys, ladies and gentlemen. So now we're going to hit her with a quick whip finish. We'll finish this. This show's starting to get a little bit on the long side. But hey, we had lots to talk about, man. We were just in Florida. And boy, that was a lot of fun. I'll tell you, it's nice always to mix it up with a little bit of different species and keep things interesting. So we got this tied off. We got green on top. We got our white on the underside. And then we're going to go to this lovely stuff called Solarized Bone Dry. And we're going to give it a quick coating up on the head here, on the thread. Loosen this guy off. And you're going to see how this stuff just kind of makes things pop. Pop. That's right. I guess you boys down south would have been make it soda. See? Make it soda. We make it pop. You guys make it soda. Look at that, man. Doesn't that look good? Can you see the glass finish it's giving it?
Yeah.
Making it glassy. Okay. Give it a couple slow rotates. Make sure that everything's uniform, and hit it with that UV light. That's what we're talking about right there. And you see how quick this stuff cures. My battery's actually getting a little bit on the low side, because when you hit it with the fresh battery and it's got a good charge, it'll actually make that sucker smoke.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, it did. A little puff of smoke.
Yeah.
And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You've got a semi-traditional fry pattern that's going to knock their boots off. And it's, as you saw, it's pretty easy to tie. And if you do have a mishap like I did, it's pretty easy to recover. I'll give it a slow roll here so you guys can see what we're looking at. We haven't named it yet today, but once it hits our website, it's going to be named. But yeah, you can see, pretty. It's going to knock their boots off. If they were wearing boots, that is. But anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go back up to the top. We're back up there. As usual, we'd like to thank you all for watching. Hopefully enjoy the show. If you do, follow us on Instagram at Friday Night Flies. And we've also got a YouTube channel now, which is YouTube/C/Friday Night Flies. I believe, yeah, we're also on Facebook. So if you guys are on those social media platforms, this is where we get to engage our loyal fans like yourself. So follow us, and if you guys want to chat on some stuff, reach out to us, man. We love emails. We love replying to your comments too. So anyhow, we've got there's a few new tires this year. Rick McKay is one of them. He's one of our guides at Pembina Fish Finder. He's also a very avid fly fisherman. We've got Johnny Horner. He's been our head guide for the last couple of years. I think he tied last year a couple times, but I think he's going to make a statement by coming in and tying a few more flies. He's got some real heavy hitter patterns, some old school D flies and some spay flies that he wants to share with you guys. We've also got Scotty Holmes. He's back. I'm not sure where Scott Laboldis is, but he's always welcome to join us. And if he wants to come in and tie some flies, he's always welcome to. Other than that, we've got our young up-and-comer, Ethan Cox. He's the man. He'll be back this year. And I believe Zach Copeland's actually going to be tying again this year, too. He's got himself a new computer. So look forward to some really nice ties from our man Zach down at... where's he working now? No, I can't remember the name of it. He's down in one of those beautiful sports shops. And if you do know which one it is that he's working at, leave it in the comments below. So it's either C-Run. I think it's maybe C-Run. I can't remember. Anyhow, he's down in one of those great little fly shops down in Vancouver. Anyhow, we're going to leave it at that. You're welcome to go through our pictures. If you go over to Pembina Fish Finder on Instagram, we've got a little bit more detail, some videos and stuff from our trip to Florida. You're welcome to check them out. And make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Be back with you guys soon.